All right. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our Paying for College welcome webinar. My name is DePaul Straub. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm the Assistant Director here in New Student and Transition Services and have the privilege of hosting this welcome webinar series this summer. So thank you all again for being here. Really quickly, just a couple housekeeping items before we get started. So we are joined today by Financial Aid and Bursar. So I will introduce both of them and we'll get lots of great information all about paying for college. Um, Please note the Q&A feature. That is open for you all to submit questions anytime throughout the webinar. Please know that while you are welcome to submit those at any time, some of them might be answered in chat. We might also purposely not answer some until the end because we will do a little bit of content and then we'll have some time for general Q&A. So please know that if you submit your question, we are seeing it. Even if it's not answered in the chat, we might just be holding it because it will be applicable to a lot of people, and we want to chat about it at the end of the webinar. So again, feel free to submit those kind of as we go, and as those questions come up, and we will keep track of those on the back end. But that being said, we will go ahead and get started. So I'm going to introduce Anne Rusk, and she's going to talk a little bit about the Office of Financial Aid.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. We're excited to have you at Minds this fall. So we are going to talk about financial aid and the Bursar's office, as DePaul said. I'm one of the associate directors of financial aid, and this is all of our contact information because the big thing you need to know is that if you have a question, we need you to ask. We try to send out as much general information as we can, but a lot of it's really specific to you and your information. So please feel free to ask. We know financial aid can be very confusing. And when it comes to money, we want to make sure you get the information you need. We are located in the Student Center, so the same building as the Ordigger Outfitters or the bookstore. We're downstairs. Our walk-in hours are 9 to 4, Monday through Friday. Email is probably the best way to get a hold of us. We also have a great website. You can give us a call at any time and have your student ID number handy. That's the CWID. It stands for Campus Wide ID number. So that is your student's number. It typically starts with a 109 because that's how we're going to look up your student. So make sure you have that handy when you contact our office so we can look up your student account. The best way for families and supporting family members and people to help support their students is to subscribe to our newsletter. So on any of our home pages at the very bottom, there's a button to subscribe to our newsletter, or it's through MailChimp, and that's the website right there where you can subscribe or unsubscribe if you don't find it helpful. We try to let families know different things that are happening when it comes to financial aid in a timely fashion. We send emails directly to students, but we know sometimes you guys have a lot of email, so it's hard to keep up. But the newsletter will help families and other supporting people know what's going on in financial aid. So we encourage everyone to subscribe to the newsletter if you find that helpful. If you want to see what's happening with your student's account, there's two different types of access that you can have. One is proxy, and that's for financial aid. So that's where you can see the financial aid offers. You can see what's been accepted by students. You can see if they have any outstanding requirements. They can't see the bill through proxy. So that's why there's two different types of access. One is this proxy, and that's where students can set this up through Trailhead. There's a card that we have a little picture of here, the self-service app links. In that general self-service, that's where a student can set up a proxy. So they can set up multiple proxies here. And you want to make sure your proxy knows you're setting them up because a link will be sent to their email address and they have 24 hours to activate their proxy account. So you don't want to do this when you're hanging out and like somebody might be away for the weekend because that link is going to expire and you'll have to resend it. You can resend information through that same spot. You also want to pay attention to the expiration date because proxies do expire and students can change that access at any time. If you don't set an expiration date, it'll automatically default to 6 months. So if you do that for 6 months from now, that means it's going to expire in January. So when you want to go in and see what's happening for spring, the proxy won't have access. So you want to make sure you update that as much as you can. So that'll give you access to, proxy gives you access to financial aid stuff. When it comes to the bill, and the Bursar's office will talk about this a little later, you want to do the authorized user access to the bill. So that's a different access than proxy. So the one person can have access to a bill who can't see your financial aid or vice versa. But these are the different ways that you would give people access to those two different types of accounts. So Trailhead, everybody's been in Trailhead. Trailhead is your friend. This is where everything is up to date 24/7. So what you have in financial aid will be reflected on the financial aid tab. You've probably been to the financial aid card. That financial aid details button, that very first button, that's what gets you into your financial aid. And there is an option for the different aid years at the top right-hand corner. Right now, you probably only have one aid year available for this first coming up year at Mines for 25, 26. But as you progress, that will be different. You'll have different options for aid years up there. The important information button has stuff like, if there's a summer financial aid request, there's a budget review request, different types of links that we might have that could impact your aid would be found there. But those will be in an email we'll send to you if you probably want to use those. The thing you want to look at now is that view your requirements. So if you have anything outstanding that the financial aid office is going to need from you, it will be found there. If there's a form that we need or a document that we need, you can upload it through that same card on that financial aid card. We have a different scholarship card. So you probably have all been to that scholarship portal. So you can do all of that, your applications there. You want to keep an eye on that portal because as applications become available, if you're eligible to apply, they'll show up there. So I normally tell people check that about once a month. If you have any outside scholarships coming, you're going to want to report those to our office, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. But you'll find that link right here on the scholarship card. You can also view your reported scholarships. There's a donor release form for outside scholarships. The other thing that's important to see is it links you to our scholarship payment page. So if you have a scholarship and they want to know how to pay Mines, you can send them the link to this page because it is just an external website. It's one of our websites, but you can get to it through the scholarship card. There's also a Bursar payment card, and the Bursar's office will talk more about that later, but these are the three cards that are really going to talk about your finances at Mines. So when it comes to your scholarships, if you have scholarships from someone outside of Mines, there's three different parts to that process. First, you want to report that scholarship to us so we know that it's coming. So sometimes your outside scholarship may not spell your name right. They might put down your CWID incorrectly. So if you report it to us, it helps us match up the scholarship with you. The other thing that's important about reporting a scholarship is that when we receive a check, if it doesn't specify a semester, we will automatically split the amount of the check in half between fall and spring. So if you have a $5,000 scholarship, but we receive a check for $2,500 and we don't know anything about it, we will split that 1250 to fall and 1250 to spring for a total of 2500, not knowing there's 2500 still to come for the next semester. So when you report it, you help us know exactly what's coming for you so that way we can apply it to your account correctly. You're going to see that reported scholarship show up as a resource. And we're going to talk more about how you can kind of follow this through in just a moment, but it will show up on those financial aid details as a resource. And so it will sort of be at the bottom, it'll be listed with the name. Once it gets paid to us and we've received the check, that's when the money will actually apply towards your bill. So that's when it will show up on your awards and on your bill as funds that have been received. So when you get a scholarship, you're going to report it, or when you know you've been awarded a scholarship, you're going to report it to us. You will see that show up as a resource. And then when we receive the check, then we will go ahead and apply it to your account. So we've created this handy video. We're not going to watch it right now, but take a picture of this slide. If you have any outside scholarships, this short video will help you understand where to see this in Trailhead because it's not terribly obvious. We understand Trailhead can kind of be a black box of information. So this is how you're going to see that scholarship go from where it's been reported as a resource and how you know the money has come to the account and how you know it's been applied to your bill. The other thing with the scholarships is that if you reported it to us and you only have that scholarship outstanding, you can pay your bill minus that semester amount of the scholarship, and then we can reverse some late fees if that's the only thing that's left to pay your bill. So that's how you want to make sure that you're tracking your scholarship to know that it's come and it's come in a timely fashion. But even if it comes after that due date, as long as you've reported to us, we're going to be okay. So here's some key fall financial aid dates and deadlines. June and July is when you're going to be applying for loans if you plan to use those, or if you're going to use a payment plan that the Bursar's office will talk about. You're not late if you haven't done that. That's still ongoing. So that's something you can do, but you want to just do that before you arrive on campus. In July this month, the health insurance waiver is going to be coming out. You're going to roll in cough, which is something the bursar's office is also going to talk about. And you want to look at those financial aid requirements because our priority deadline for getting those requirements is July 31st. In August, you're going to be able to see your bill, check those financial aid requirements have been handled. The first day of school is August 25th. So we tell everyone that's the day that you want to make sure that all your financial aid has hit your account. It should be there by August 25th, except any of those outside scholarships that you don't have any control over. And then on September 11th, that's the day the bill is due. So even if you think you paid everything, all your financial aid is there, you double check it one more time just to make sure everything has paid, and then you're all done with financial aid. So that is basically the financial aid process in a nutshell. And so yeah, so that's us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anne. So feel free if you still have financial aid questions to pop those in. We'll definitely save some for the end as well. So just remember if you see those coming in and not a response in the chat, and that we are holding some of those as well. But with that, we're going to move on to the office of the bursar and cashier. So I'm going to introduce Paul to talk a little bit about that.
Hey everybody, my name is Paul. I'm the cashier at the office of the Bursar and cashier. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what our office offers and services. As below, we are located in the same location as the financial aid office in the Ben Parker Student Center. Our walk-in hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if you ever want to come by with any questions, you're more than welcome to come by and more than happy to help with any of those questions you may have or concerns. Our email address, bursar@mines.edu, and our website, which has a lot of great resources as well, such as our tuition and fee charts, and more information about our payment plans and other Bursar related stuff that I'll go over in this PowerPoint. But yeah, definitely recommend looking at our website. And our phone number is below as well. And, one thing to help our office out as well is if you could also have your campus-wide ID handy, we can look you up a lot easier and, being able to service you as best we could. So the services that we do provide, we provide accurate billing. So our bills are published monthly, online only. So another thing that I'll kind of go over later, but also you'll want to set up your guardian parents as an authorized user, and I can go over that a little bit later. Our access account summary online anytime. So if you ever have any concerns or any questions about your bill, you can always just go to your Trailhead account under the Bursar Payments card under My Account page, and you can find that information there. Also, we provide sponsorship billing on behalf of students, such as military students, other foreign agencies, as well as other miscellaneous sponsors. We also offer payment plans. They are available at the beginning of the semester for $35 is the enrollment fee. We do offer a few different options as far as how many payment plan options you want. So if you would like 5 or 4 months, whatever your financial and information detail entails, but we do offer that for our students. At the cashier's office, we do process payments as well, cash, checks, cards. All credit and debit cards are subject to a 2.9 servicing fee. So it would be in the best interest to use check, cash as one of the main options with paying for college. We also process refunds. We provide accurate refunds for any time that there's an excess of financial aid or scholarships. So what you would do is if you do see a negative credit on your account, you just want to reach out to our office via email and send us a refund request so we can get that refund out as soon as possible. Also, you might be eligible for a refund if for instance, pay for the class and then you end up dropping the class. You can always receive the refund based on the dates that you drop that class. So you definitely want to look at the dates when you drop that class because you want to drop it before the deadline. If not, it's considered a withdrawal and you would not be entitled for that refund. But definitely you want to look at the academic calendar and see when the last day to add or drop a class is, and we can get that refund to you if everything is processed correctly. As I was talking about earlier, the main page that we use on Trailhead is the Bursar Payments card. And when you go there, you want to click on My Account page. This is a great resource for our students and parents. Um, this this page allows you to grant access to parents or anybody else as an authorized user. And what that does is that anytime there any bills or any new information is published on your account, not only you but the authorized payer would also receive that information. So definitely, I would recommend signing up for that as soon as possible. And as financial aid, as Anne mentioned earlier, that you definitely want to sign up for that as soon as possible, just because there is a difference between proxy access and an authorized payer access. So yeah, definitely want to sign up for that as soon as possible. This also like I said, grants parents and spouses access to pay online, billing history and the account summary, and to look at other payments that were made on that account. Also, another great resource for receiving your information for your 1098-T. This grants you access for the end of your taxes, so you can claim your education credit on your taxes and have all that information readily available. Also, my account page is where you'd sign up for the payment plan for the $35. And this is where the information where you place in if you would like to have your payment auto pay, you would set up that information and then every time it would be scheduled for the payment plan to pay through when it's scheduled to pay in. Also, my account page is where you would also sign up for the e-refund. So if you do not sign up for an e-refund, then for the refund would be sent out as a paper check, which can be a longer process. So we always recommend our students, parents, and to sign up for that as soon as possible. So the IPP, what we call the payment plan. Payment plans are not mandatory, but it's a resource for parents and students that it will help you budget and provide a payment structure for the semester. It's $35 non-refundable fee. It does prevent late fees, so if you do sign up, the $35, your payment plan would prevent any late fees from accumulating on your account. So we definitely recommend enroll early to get the most out of the plan. Fall plans are actually open at the current moment. So if you would like, you could definitely look at those options, and you could find this information on our website at Bursar, mines.edu/Bursar. And we have a page that will share this information that you can kind of go over and weigh your options and what you would like to do. As I mentioned earlier, it's a hassle-free automatic withdrawals. So a great resource. So it kind of leaves you stress-free far as the financial part, just knowing that the payments can just be automatically withdrawn and you wouldn't have to worry about this throughout the semester. Again, as I mentioned earlier, all card and debit cards come with a 2.95 service fee. Other payment options. So you can always pay in full by the payment deadline. The payment deadline for the fall semester is September 11th. So if you would not want to sign up for the payment plan, you would just need to make sure to have your account balance paid in full by that date, or it would come with late charges. So definitely be ready to register, and it make you eligible to register for the next term without any delays. Because if you do have an account balance from the previous term, then you will not be able to register until that balance is paid in full, or if you contact our office and set up an in-house payment plan. Also, you could pay at your own pace. You can make payments throughout the semester and basically making your own payment plan. But again, this would come with a 1.5 late service fee for a late payment. Balance must be paid in full before registering for the next term, and holds may apply, as I mentioned earlier. And sponsorships. So submit your sponsor authorization and sponsored student agreement forms by the payment deadline, which I mentioned earlier, September 11th. You want to have that information to us as soon as possible, just to avoid any confusion, as well as making sure that we're able to place that sponsorship on your account. This would avoid late fees. And if for instance your sponsorship doesn't pay for the full amount of your account balance, then you would be able to pay the remaining balance after the sponsorship has been applied to your account. Secure online payment methods. So our office offers a lot of different payment methods. We offer an electronic check. This would ask for your routing number and account number for your bank account. Um, and there would be no fees attached with doing that as the transaction. It's free and no fees and can be saved for future payments. So if for the spring semester, um, as long as you have that information in there, you would be able to use that information for the next semester and not have to worry about looking for that each time that you need to make a payment. We do offer credit and debit cards, but this again is subject to a fee of 2.95. And it can be saved as well for future semesters. We also have a payment option for 529 college savings plans. It's a $10 per transaction charge. Some vendors' plans may not be supported with our third-party system. Um, but we do have a list on our website of the applicable 529 payment plans or 529 college savings plans that qualify for the transactions being directly pulled from the Transact side, which is our third party vendor. Um, Again, if the 529 is not showing on that list, you can always just contact your 529 college savings plan and ask them to cut a paper check and just have that mailed to our office as well. Wire payments is another great option. You could check with your financial institutions, such as your bank, just seeing what fees may be applicable with doing a wire payment from bank to bank. But when you do that, you want to make sure that you include your campus-wide ID and your name just so that we can connect the payment to you as a student. Um, and we do also, our last one would be international payments. This is a great resource for our international students. We offer a system called Convera. It's a great resource that you can make the payment and it's directly sent to us. And we also offer the other option as Pay My Tuition. Um, and again, this information is at the web address that's on top, www.mines.edu/bursar/payments. It goes on a little bit more of detail of what information would be needed for any additional payment options. E-refunds. As I was talking about earlier, if you do have an excess of financial aid, scholarships, or for instance, you paid for your balance and then you dropped a class, you could be entitled for an e-refund. Um, if you do sign up for an e-refund, your refund would be readily available within a few days, compared to a paper check option. So we recommend this as well. The way that you would enroll is you would go to your Trailhead account under the Bursar Payments card under My Account page. And under the My Account page, you click on Sign Up for Direct Deposit Refunds. It's a very simple process, and I recommend all of our students to sign up as soon as possible so that, they can access those funds as readily as soon as possible. College Opportunity Fund, which stands for COF, for resident undergraduate students. So a lot of your high school counselors probably helped you sign up for this, but again, if you haven't, the web address to sign up would be cof.college.assist.org. This is where you would apply for College Opportunity Fund and authorize the state of Colorado to pay for the stipend to the school that you've chosen. You also would authorize this through your Trailhead account under the COF stipend authorization link on the College Opportunity Fund card on your Trailhead account. You want to also this on Trailhead account on your Trailhead. You can go under the COF stipend authorization and see how many credit hours you have available. With the College Opportunity Fund, you are limited to 145 credit hours. and the rates vary from year to year. So you definitely want to check up on this towards the end of your college career. But it's a great resource for our in-state students to be able to utilize this great resource. GradGuard tuition insurance. Our school offers tuition insurance um, for our students. What it is, GradGuard tuition insurance can help students and parents avoid a financial loss by reimbursing tuition, room, board, and other eligible fees if a student withdraws at any time during the covered term due to a full medical withdrawal from school. What does it cover? Serious illness or injury, mental health conditions, chronic illness, death of a student or tuition payer, substance abuse, or suicide. So these are kind of the options that would be available if you did purchase the tuition insurance through GradGuard. Um, it's definitely, I've seen a few students utilize this and, knowing that there could be a certain situation that pops up. Um, it's a great insurance for our students to have. Additional resources, there's an assistance hotline with the GradGuard. So if you did want to know more information about that, you could go to gradguard.com/tuition, or you can call the number 877-794-6603. Any questions?
Awesome. Thank you all. Feel free to keep submitting your questions, and we will kind of work through those. But I'm going to invite both Paul and Anne back on, and we're going to do kind of just a moderated Q&A. So like I mentioned, we save some of you all's questions kind of for the end. So we will kind of work through those now. So really quickly, just I know somebody had commented about missing some of the information about proxy. So could one of you just really quickly again cover kind of how they sign up for that, or how they get access, like as a family member or supporter?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I realized that I didn't talk about was there's two different like ways into the Minds student portal. So there's my.minds.edu, and that has a bunch of little tiles also. And then Trailhead is a tile off of that. So if you're going to my.minds and you're like, I'm not seeing any of these things they're talking about, at the top in the search bar, if you type in trail, it'll pop up with Trailhead. So that's when we're talking about where all those other cards live. So I just want to make sure everyone's going to the right place. So when you're in Trailhead, there's the self-service app links card. That has a general self-service. That's how you get to proxy. It should also be on the incoming undergraduate student card for general self-service. So that's what you're getting to is where you're servicing your account. And so that's where you're going to find information for proxy. So now this is something the student has to do with their student login through Trailhead. And then also in Trailhead, then you're for the billing, you're going to go to Paul's card. And so Paul, I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, of course. Let's see. Let's put up the questions. How do we find out the cost for tuition insurance? The tuition insurance, you can find that information on the GradGuard website itself. Definitely you can go on that webpage and it would kind of let you know the costs and what it covers and all the information that you would be looking for with that. Do you have a,
Paul,
oh,
can you speak a little bit to, I know somebody had asked about like which type of loans are like the best to utilize. So thinking about, Parent Plus versus a private loan, or kind of like what would be your advice for families or
That's actually
students that are kind of weighing those options?
that's actually mine.
Oh, even better.
Yeah. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to post in the chat. We have a helpful video to talk about the different types of options for you. That's a great way to kind of decide as a family because it is a very personal decision what's going to be best, either a Parent Plus loan or a private education loan. So I did post that video out there. If you want to talk more specifically about your exact circumstance, we can definitely set up a meeting with the financial aid office so we can talk through the different options that are available to you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Anne. This is again, I know we kind of like covered this, but Paul, this one is for you. About talking about how to like set up a payment plan. If you could just again, let's like cover that super quick for us.
Yeah, of course. The way that you would sign up for the payment plan is you go on your Trailhead account under the Bursar Payments card. Once you get to the Bursar Payments card, you want to click on My Account. Once you click on My Account, it's going to come up with a pop-up screen that you're going to click on Payment Plans. And once you click on that payment plan, it's going to bring up another pop-up window that you would be able to sign up for the payment plan there.
Beautiful. And then can either of you speak to like VA benefits and kind of how that process works?
Yeah,
And
I could do that.
perfect.
Okay, so if you're wanting to use your VA benefits at Colorado School Mines, the way that you would start that process is you'd fill out your a benefit request form, and that would be on the mines.edu/veterans webpage. You'd find that form every time you want to use every semester that you want to use your veteran benefits. You want to go to that veteran benefit request form, fill that out, and what that does is it basically lets us know that you want to use your veteran benefits for that semester. Again, then that's handled by our registrar/veterans office. Her name is Kendra Petrie. She is the contact in that office that would be able to give you any other information that would be needed for your veteran benefits to start the process, or to finish the process. But to start the process, you want to just fill out the veteran benefit request form. And once that's filled out and all the information is needed, then that comes to our office and we place that the credit on your account showing how much you're eligible for with your veteran benefits.
Perfect. All right, looking at some of the other questions that we have. So somebody had asked, like, should they see current balances in their account as of today? And if not, when could they expect to see the amounts owed?
Yeah, of course. It's not available as of yet. We do have the tuition and fee rate sheets published on our website. So depending on how many credits your student is planning on taking in the fall semester, you can kind of look at that right now and it will give you the correct dollar amount. We should have those rates published around late July. I've been hearing around July 22nd, but the bills will be published on August 1st. So August 1st is when you'll actually receive the bill. But right now, we do have the resources on our webpage showing what the tuition and fee rate sheet or tuition and fee rates will be for the next fall semester.
Awesome. I'm going to combine kind of two questions. So we had somebody kind of asking about if we could just cover again, kind of applying payments like from a 529. So how that works. And then on that same note about like how much lead time is typically needed for a payment from a 529 plan.
Yeah, so we need at least 2 weeks for the lead time for a 529 payment. Um, Again, we do have this on our webpage, and I can provide the link for that as well, um, showing which 529 savings plans do qualify for an electronic payment. Let's see. But again, if it's not on that list of eligible 529 payments, then you would ask for your 529 to send that check directly to us. And you can have that sent to our Bursar lockbox, which is our PO box in Dallas, Texas, or you can have that check sent to us directly at the cashier's office, Colorado School Mines, and I could provide those information as well. DePaul, where can I put the links?
Yeah, if you send it to me in chat, I should be able to send it out to everybody.
Okay.
That is probably the fastest way. So I will get that sent out to you all in just a second. Let's see, tracking my other questions on the back end. Okay, here's a good one. For those who are studying abroad, so I know especially we have a lot of students that do kind of our first year or first semester study abroad in France. Um, if you study in another country, do you need to make international payments for that semester, or do you still pay mines directly?
It
Oh, it
depends.
depends on. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Erin.
so it depends. We have two different types. So for the first semester, first year study abroad experience, you're going to pay mines. So that's all included in that fee when you're paying tuition directly to mines and that housing fee. And for all of your abroad experiences, as long as they're approved abroad experiences, then you can use any of your financial aid and scholarships and things like that to pay. So, what happens with those, we have either direct bill where you're going to pay that school directly. So you would make an international payment to them directly. Or they could be an exchange where you pay Mine's tuition. So then it wouldn't be an international payment. So it depends what type of program you're doing. But if you are doing the first year study abroad experience, you will be paying Mine's. So that won't be an international payment.
Perfect. Yeah, let me get that one. All right. This is again, going back to the 529. What address should those, like, if you're doing a paper check from the 529, like, what address should that be sent to?
You can send it to this address I'm putting in the chat now.
And I will recopy that for everybody. So there's that for you. Mhm. Let's
Yeah,
see.
and with the 529 check, you just want to make sure to put your student ID as well as your the student's name so we can connect it. I can't tell you how many times I've received a 529 and doesn't have any student information. Um, so we have to wait until we actually know who it's for. So definitely recommend putting that information on there.
Would you also recommend putting kind of like their quid maybe in the memo section as well?
Yeah, the quid would also be a great addition to the information added to the 529.
Perfect. I saw one coming back, going back to the VA benefits really quickly. Do you all know, is that benefit request form currently available? And if so, where that is?
Yeah, let me go ahead and give you the link for that as well.
Great. And I work on that one in chat. And this one is for you. So can you talk a little bit, is meeting with the financial aid office mandatory? And if so, like what, or even if not, what is the best way to schedule an appointment? Walk in, schedule an appointment, what works best for you all?
You do not need to meet with our office. If you have questions, feel free to reach out, but you don't need an actual meeting. We are answering our own phones, so you're not going to get into a phone tree or anything like that. You can drop by the office if you're on campus. You can send an email anytime. We'll respond during regular business hours. But no, you don't need to meet with us to get your aid set up in any way. There's nothing that you're going to physically do with our office. There are only a couple of forms that we do need to deal with in person. So if you have an outstanding requirement that has to be handled in person, that can happen when you get to campus in August, and it will say must be done in person. One of those is like if I need a statement of identity, it's a weird little financial aid form, but you can do that when you get to campus in August. Otherwise, you don't need an appointment with our office. You can drop off scholarship checks to our office. We have a lockbox. But if you do need an appointment with our office, we do have a form on our website, finaid.mines.edu. If you go up to the contact us section, you can request a virtual appointment or an in-person appointment, and we can definitely accommodate you if you want to come see us.
Awesome. Okay, what is the earliest date that people can start paying in full for the fall semester?
So yeah, as of today, if they would like to pay in full, you could start paying in full as of today. Um, but I would recommend contacting our office after payment is made, just letting us know that that payment is for the fall semester, and we can hold that credit until the actual bill does apply towards the account.
Perfect. Okay, I think, and this might be for you as well, but potentially Paul for you as well. Um, or is there any way right now that people can look for scholarships that were awarded to them through the general scholarship application?
Absolutely. Yeah. If your student was awarded anything from the general application or any scholarships ongoing from Mines, they're going to receive an email from the financial aid office or from the scholarship email to their Mines email address. and the award will be posted on their Trailhead financial aid. So if they look at their account right now and they see their financial aid awards, if there's anything new, it will be listed there because those are posted once the award has been made. So those are ongoing, but a bulk of the fall scholarships have been awarded. They are still reviewing some applications as things continue to shift, but a bulk of the general application initial fall awards have been made, but those are ongoing.
Perfect. We just got one in just here a second ago, where somebody was asking how can they make sure that they finished applying for loans. They felt like it maybe felt a little bit too easy, and they're nervous that they like maybe necessarily didn't do it correctly. Like, what advice would you have for them?
Yeah, we process those. We're almost up to date on everything that's been applied for. So if you have applied more than a week ago, and I would have your student make sure they're checking their Minds email address because they'll get an email there saying that we've certified either a PLUS loan or a private education loan. And they should be able to see that approved loan on Trailhead on their financial aid account. So if you check those two places and you don't see anything about it and it's been more than a week, I would just reach out to our office with your student's ID number and we can get back to you because either something could have been, we could have a question, something could be missing, but we can definitely help you verify that it's all there.
Awesome. Okay, so we haven't really talked that much about student loans, and I know that could be obviously an entire topic by itself. But thinking about student loans, can you talk a little bit more kind of about what some of those options are?
Absolutely. So the students, any student who has a FAFSA, you have to have a FAFSA to have federal loans, and those are student and parent loans. So any student who did a FAFSA has been offered the student loan that they're eligible for. So there's a subsidized or unsubsidized loan, and on our homepage where you can also get to that video, it does have information about those two types of loans. So students have been offered the maximum that they're allowed to have in those loans. Some students might go in and make a decision on a loan without really knowing what they're thinking about doing at this time. So if you've already made a decision on your loan and Trailhead to accept or reject that loan and you want to change your answer, you just email our office and we can re-offer that loan so you can make your choice again. The student loans for a first year dependent student are not very big. They're $5,500. That amount is set by Congress. And so any amount more than that, since that's obviously not going to cover the cost of attending Minds, will need to come from some other funding source. So if you need to finance the rest of your expenses or any portion of your expenses, you want to do that through either a Parent Plus loan or a private education loan. So private education loan, those are the ones through banks, College Avenue, SoFi, Sallie Mae, Earnest. There's a bunch of different lenders out there. They're all offering the same type of loan product where your student is going to school and that's what makes them eligible for a loan, but they will need a credit-worthy cosigner. Most students cannot qualify for these loans based just by themselves, so they will need somebody to cosign with them. The Parent Plus loan, on the other hand, is a federal parent loan option. You can see the different rates that are on our website. They're not necessarily competitive with the private loans. The private loans could be more advantageous, so you'll want to take a look because it does depend on your credit standing. Whereas the Parent Plus loan is only looking for adverse credit. They're looking for bankruptcies or delinquencies or defaults. So it could be easier to qualify for. The Parent Plus loan program might be changing in the coming years. So you're going to want to kind of take a look at what option is going to be best for you and your family. Because with a parent loan, the student doesn't have any part of that. Whereas the private loan, it does belong to the student. So that's why I would go through that video. If you want to talk more in depth after you look at some of those resources, we can definitely answer some of those questions for you one-on-one based on your situation.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Another one, this is, I know, Paul, when you were kind of going over the different tiles for the Bursar specifically, we had somebody ask or talk about like that they were like logging in. It seems that they didn't, like when they searched it, they didn't have access to those tiles. I assume if that's an issue, that should be probably an IT question, correct?
It would be IT. What I recommend is that all the tiles are in alphabetical order. So if it's not under the Bursar payments card, then yeah, definitely want to reach out to IT to see if they could fix that.
And can you remind us just one more time kind of where to find that information?
Yeah, it's under the Trailhead under the Bursar payments card.
Beautiful. And then this is another question, Paul, for you, but where can, if they wanted to right now, like where can they go to find the amount to pay for the fall semester?
Yeah, so it's located on our web page, and let me go ahead and provide that for you. So it would be at the mines.edu/Bursar. Once you get to Bursar, you want to click on tuition and fees. And then once you get to that web page, you want to click on tuition itself. And I'm going to go ahead and post that.
Beautiful. Yeah, it looks like Jenny posted that in chat as well, so we should be
Oh, okay.
good to go. Thank you for pulling that for us.
Yeah, of course.
I see this one
And
being answered
and
by
that's the
Michelle.
tuition portion
I'm sorry.
only, right, Paul? Because if they have housing or dining, then those rates will be on the housing and dining page.
That is correct. The housing and
Okay,
dining is on another page, and I could provide that for you as well.
perfect.
And then I see one, I know Michelle's answering it, but I think this could be a valuable thing for all of us to just chat about really quick about any tips for work study. So obviously they can look on the tile like online, but can students do work study the first semester if they are abroad in the spring?
Yeah, I mean, so jobs are offered by individual departments and they're offered by individuals. And so we're all looking for great students, especially those who have work study, because work study means that the government pays the student's paycheck. It goes directly into their pocket. It doesn't go towards their bill. And so the offices and departments around campus get the benefit of student employees, and their paycheck is paid by the work study program. So if a student is going to be studying abroad, they're still going to come back sophomore year. So we're still excited to have them back. They'll just want to be upfront when they're applying to jobs that that's what's going to be happening for them. Also, there is an on-campus job fair typically the first week of school. So that'll be announced out to students as well. Don't be worried if you don't see a lot of jobs out there in Workday. You don't need to be applying right now. Most of us aren't are still a little bit in denial that fall is coming. So not all jobs for fall have even been posted. A lot of those are going to be happening during August. And so so you'll be able to apply for jobs all the way into September when you're on campus for anyone who's wanting to work.
And can you answer too, is work study need-based only or kind of how that works?
It depends. Everything in financial aid. So if you are a non-resident student, so you're not a Colorado resident, it is need-based only. A FAFSA is required for all types of work study. If you are a Colorado resident, the state does provide limited no-need work study. So if you are interested in that, I would reach out to the financial aid office to express your interest, and we'll evaluate how much funding we have available.
Perfect.
And
And
then all jobs are posted, sorry, all jobs are
you're
posted
good?
in Workday. And you can find that tile not in Trailhead, but in my.mines.edu. If you search at the top for work, then Workday is where that comes up, and that's where jobs are posted.
Perfect. So I see one being answered by Jenny too, and Jenny, feel free to keep answering in chat. But Paul, this is, I think, a good question for everybody. So there seems to be a little bit confusion about, like, specifically for students living on campus, do they have to log into multiple portals for like housing, Bursar, food plan, and pay separately, or is all of that like room, tuition, board all going to be payable in one place?
It's all payable in one place. So it would be all under the account balance. You would sign up for the housing and meal plans through the housing office directly, but then we would bill for that charge. So everything would be through the Bursar payments card.
Perfect. And then just wanted to also bring this up. I know this one got answered in the chat a little bit earlier, but I think again another important piece to chat about is talking about specifically the Mines health insurance plan. So kind of how and when that will be billed. Like is that currently included in the mandatory fees or is that additional to those?
So yeah, that will be placed on the account on August 1st. All students are initially charged the health insurance, and then you would need to submit a health insurance waiver if you do have health insurance through other means. And I can provide that link as well. I believe the opening date is July 22nd. Don't
I think
hold
it's
me
the
to that.
15th.
Is it the
Yeah.
15th?
Yeah, I think it's the 15th. Also, just to make sure, so this is part of what also gets confusing is that so Paul's talking about the physical bill, the thing that you're going to pay. And so, yes, the health insurance charge will show up there. If you're planning to use financial aid or loans to cover that expense, it is not part of the mandatory fees that are on your cost of attendance budget in financial aid. So that is the average budget for all students and for all charges that are charged for students. So if you want to use a loan that's done through Mines to pay for that expense, you want to let our office know that you're planning to enroll in health insurance so we can add that to your budget and certify the loan for that amount. And everything is going to be billed on a per semester basis. And so we'll be adding that to your bill for fall and spring, even though it's a 12-month plan. It's billed in those two sections. So that's kind of the difference between a budget for financial aid if you want to use financial aid for it versus the bill, which is real cash money, which is what's going to be coming out from Paul's office at the end next month or the end of the month.
Also, I would like to stress that there is a deadline to submit a health insurance waiver, which is September 3rd.
To answer, I see one in right now about like a list of minimum qualifications and coverage. Yes, to answer that question, there is on that one I just put in the chat that student health, student insurance page. And if you just search up Colorado School of Mines student health insurance, and that page will like pop right up as well. But that will have kind of those minimum like the minimums and qualifications for outside health insurance to have that covered and waived as well. Great question. Let me see
Great
if
question.
I have anything else for you all while we're here. Um, I it did answer kind of this one in chat a little bit, but um, somebody who had asked about the VA kind of missed that information because their audio was going in and out. For specific scenarios, is it best for them to reach out to Paul? Is it best for them to reach out to your office, like out to the Bursar for that?
For starting the process, you would want to reach out to the Veterans/Registrar's office first. That's where you'd fill out the benefit request form. They abbreviate it to BRF. So that would be the very first step in signing up for the benefits for the veterans. And the contact person for that, her name is Kendra Petrie. She is a great resource and she's very wonderful to work with. So a great resource in that office to reach out to. They start the process. Our office will place the credit on the account, and we do the billing for the VA through the specific portals. So we do the billing, but they start the process of initiating the request through their office.
Perfect. All right. I don't see any other questions coming through. The only thing I would ask of the two of you, maybe if you just really want to, like, really quickly, like, top three tips from your office or things like students should be thinking about kind of as they come into minds. And I'll let you can decide who goes first.
Oh
You first,
no.
Dan.
Oh yeah, I've got this. Yeah, the number one tip from the financial aid office is trust but verify. So if you think that you've done something, trust that you have, and then just verify after a couple of days. If you're not exactly sure, you can't tell that you have, it hasn't disappeared, you think it should look different, please reach out to our office. Financial aid does not always make logical sense. Most of the time it doesn't. And so we expect questions and we answer very quickly, especially by email. So if you're not exactly sure, you are welcome to reach out. It's best to be absolutely positive. Second biggest thing is that your age should be there by the first day of class. So up until then, if things are kind of in flux, things are moving along, we're certifying loans. We don't start paying aid towards your bill until about a week before class begins. So give it a little bit of time. If you don't see it by the first day of class, other than those outside scholarship checks that are rolling in on their own timeline, please reach out because we still have time before that bill is due to get anything else done or anything rectified that might need personal assistance. The last thing is to just know if you receive an email, especially students, if you receive an email, know that we sent it to you on purpose. So if you're not sure what it is, you can reply and after you've read it and say, I'm not sure what to do with this. Send it to a supporting person who's helping you make these decisions because we try not to overwhelm your email with random information. So if we're sending it to you, we did that by design. We are open all summer, Monday through Friday. So we are actually super busy getting ready for you this fall. So please, if you have questions, let us know. We are here to help.
Okay, my turn. So some of the recommendations I would recommend, one, on the bill itself, the financial aid shows up as authorized aid and doesn't show up as being part of the bill itself. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at the bill itself, that it's just showing up as authorized aid and it's actually not being on calculated on the bill itself. Second, check your emails. Our office is very communicative and we'll make sure that we reach out to the student or parent as soon as possible as if there's a new bill or anything pops up on the student account. And last but not least, ask us questions anytime. I'm you could see me at the front desk. Um, always happy to help. Also, our phone calls, any emails that you can email our office, and we have a good response time. It is our goal to have those emails answered within 24 hours. So anytime you have any questions, we're here to help, and we want to see you be successful.
So one thing, sorry, DePaul, I want to add one last little tiny
Okay.
thing. I know we're at time, but is that the bill is also a PDF. So it is a snapshot in time. So if you see the date on the bill and something's happened after it, it will be on that current account balance. And that authorized aid, it's not part of your bill. You're right. It's not part of your bill up until like the week before class begins. Then it will show as actual paid and all and your final numbers and all of those things for using that for a 529 or whatever. You can also use that amount to you can do the math yourself. So it will show authorized aid. It just doesn't come off of the amount due. So it's only for that first bill or so that it shows authorized. And if you have questions once you get that, you can reach out to either of our offices and we can help you out.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Really quickly, I want to share just a couple reminders. So if you haven't already signed up, I know some of our webinars have already filled, including this next one. But rest assured, the recordings will be on our website the day or two, typically after those webinars. But our next one is going to be Thursday, July 17th, and that's going to be at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. And that is going to feature the Center for Academic Services and Advising, what we call CASA, and the registrar, and we'll be talking all about registering for classes and schedules and all of those things. Um, Please note, families, you will need your student's applicant account information to register for those, and if you haven't already. Students, please join us for our summer engagement series peer discussions. If you haven't signed up already, those are still available. You can find those on our website, and that's nsts.mines.edu. You're just going to look for that summer engagement series, or you should have received an email from one of our lead peer mentors with some of that information as well. So make sure to sign up for one of those if you haven't already. Also, make sure that you're completing your Order Your Next Steps checklist. That'll be in your admissions portal. If you haven't already, please complete that Help Welcome information form for us. And then just a friendly reminder to check your Minds email throughout the summer for important information, not only from our office, but from other campus partners as well. So with that, thank you all so much for joining us. Anna, Paul, thank you again for being here and helping answer questions, and Michelle and Jenny as well. But thank you all, and we look forward to seeing you all in August. Have a great rest of your day.